Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
Christina was first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got it. She definitely got it. She had, but, you know, it's like the steroid era in baseball. There's an asterisk because she knows exactly when I go live. So.
It's true. I am cheating, and I'm okay with that.
Christina never let a little cheating hold her back. Christina's motto is, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Exactly.
All right. Dude, ironically, we're going to keep this to a tight 2-hour show tonight, but I don't think I've ever gotten more questions than I got tonight.
Well, get started.
Yeah. There is a boatload of questions. So, welcome to the crossover. Today is Friday, December 16th, 2022. And mail days.
None.
Do you have any mail days?
Nope.
Neither do I. Christina? No mail days anywhere. All right. And any announcements?
Nope.
An announcement, Christina?
Yeah.
What's your announcement?
I was on 30 podcasts
Okay,
this week.
we're going to get to that. All right, so here's the first topic of the day. From the rare question asker, Christina's PC. She amuses herself like none other.
No, yeah. Just like Josh, I amuse myself the most. Josh amuses himself the most as well.
She writes in, let's talk about Christina making the podcast rounds this week. Clapping emoji, clapping emoji, clapping emoji. All right, come over here. Tell the world the podcast that you were on.
Hi, everyone. So first up, I was on 90s B-Ball Cards with Jake. That's a YouTube show. We talked about holiday cards, including Santa from the Pro Sets. And top 10, we made a top 10 list of Christmas movies.
What next?
Next, I was on Sports Card Therapist panel with other women in the industry, including Sharon, Black Shaded Wolf, Stephanie, Mama Breaks, and Erica, Love What You Collect, all fans of the show. And then Rob, of course, shout out, thank you for having us. And then the third podcast I was on this week was this morning. I woke up super early. I'm on like zero sleep. And I was on the Dave and Adams, The Chase. No, this is my time. The Chase with David and Troy. And that was a lot of fun. Thanks. I'm being kicked off.
She found the energy for the game tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Next question. Also, Drake, who is in the chat and also has the next question, says, were the questions A+ tonight? And I'm going to give him an A.
Ooh, what's holding it back?
A little too much quantity. You know, the quantity-quality balance.
Well, individuals can't stop that. The individual question asker can't stop that.
Hey, look, you know, sometimes things are out of our control, but they still penalize us. So, you guys get an A. Be happy with an A. We ain't doing grade inflation here.
There's no such thing as A+.
All right. At Drake's PC says, I'm hosting an Instagram live on Thursday night, December 22nd, with 9 Drew Brees collectors, plus myself, sharing our 10 favorite Drew Brees cards. I think we need more hobby content like that. Would you guys mind sharing and encouraging people to check it out? There you go, Drake. I'll be checking it out.
Boom.
Card Shop Dad says, can you have Frankie 3500 come on and just go through his 3 rows? And so, you know what? Frankie wasn't available tonight. It's late in Puerto Rico. But here's a little preview. If you just go to his page, Frankie 3500, he shows off. I mean, this is a huge 3-row of
I love that they're all raw.
raw. I mean, these are some of the very best Jordans.
I love when people show their raw collections because it's like I would never do it, but I like watching other people do it.
Oh yeah, and the uniformity of the presentation when they're all the
Yes.
one touches like that is very satisfying.
And he's got the like sleeves around the one touches. Oh yeah.
It's nice, and he's got like 5 videos like this. So I mean,
Oh, these are like monster cards too.
Yeah.
Oh, credentials.
it's awesome. So there, I won't spoil the whole thing. If you want to see it all, hop over to Frankie's page. All right, first topic of the day for discussion. 3 different people wrote in about it. Card Collecting 82 says, are Donald Trump NFTs a great investment? And how much of my net worth should I invest in them?
All of it.
Frank, you should invest your entire gross worth into them. Frank Schneider, Pittsburgh, says every 15th Donald Trump NFT comes with a verified top secret document. Take notes, Gary V. Badger Pride 36 says, my father-in-law asked if I was going to buy any, quote, Trump cards. I didn't know what he was talking about. As the hobby's biggest advocate of digital collectibles, could Josh please weigh in?
I heard they sold out.
Look, I mean, if anybody's going to sell out,
I also heard they're getting crushed on the secondary market, so don't get too excited, everybody.
well, you know, I wouldn't have ordinarily a strong opinion on this one way or the other, except Donald Trump committed the cardinal sin. You know what the cardinal sin is?
Making,
For the
I do.
in the Hoj book of hobby.
making an NFT?
I mean, that's up there, but
I do.
what is it, Christina?
He compared it to baseball cards, but said it was better.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He
I thought
said,
it was a card.
hopefully-
It's like a digital card, right?
It's a digital card, and he said, hopefully these are similar to baseball cards, but much more exciting.
Oh. Oh, trust me, it's not, Donald.
So, look, Trump, I know you've tried to avoid me coming at you all these years, but you took it there knowing that I was going to come at your head for that one. So, can we just do a favor? We don't need to prop up, well, maybe we do, but the propping up of digital collectibles by constantly saying they're baseball cards but better. We've taken many people to task over the years for doing this. Please stop. Do you have any comments on this, John?
I do not. I'm also quite sick of this topic. It's like people just it's the marketing sales pitch, you know. They don't have anything else to say. It can't stand on its own merit, so they have to prop it up against something better.
Yep. And let me just throw this in there too. Good time to put this data point in. In February of 2021, Top Shot was doing $220 million in monthly revenue. In the last few months, it's somewhere between, in December so far, it's done $800,000 in monthly revenue, and in the months before that, it's just a few million per month. Absolute devastating collapse of not just prices, but sales volume as well. And there's a distinction there because in the macro numbers that we have about sports cards, tracking only secondary marketplaces that sell singles, we see sports cards continuously do about $200 million a month on average. If sports cards went from $200 million a month to $1 million a month or $2 million a month, I would jump off that balcony head first and plunge into the pavement.
Why do you
And I'd have a lot of cards. I would own a lot of sports cards.
And Josh would inherit my collection.
No, not those. Well, if it's only $1 million, that means I'm buying stuff because it's so cheap.
Right. So that's just a cautionary tale. Let me not go off on too many tangents. The point of that cautionary tale is that we've seen the digital collectibles playbook through Top Shot, and it's mind-boggling to see something do $200 million in sales volume in 1 month and then a year and a half later, it's doing 2 million, 3 million a month. That is devastating. Okay. Timmy D21PC says, when a very rare card that you've been looking for pops up on eBay for a very fair price with a best offer option, fair price, best offer option, and you see it right away, what is your move? Do you smash to buy it now and risk losing the or do you risk losing the card by making an offer but save a little bit of money?
If it's rare, I smash it. If it's like a 101, I smash it. But if it's like out of 50 or something, I'd probably make an offer.
Yes. That's where I tend to fall as well. It depends on the card, right? But I find it hard to miss out on something because I'm saving 3% or 5% or something.
Have you ever done it where you'll like make the offer and then you're like, never mind, I can't do it. Smash. Like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's happened to me.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely happens. Okay. Cards and Cardio says, I find myself genuinely feeling bad for my hobby friends who have quote unquote invested in a prospect heavily only to see them get injured, benched, or underperform. I was wondering if you experienced the same feelings with your friends and if you could share advice for prospectors who might feel regret.
Stop prospecting and buy for collecting. Build collections instead.
Absolutely. Know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, do you feel bad for your friends and you go to Vegas with them and they lose all their money there? I don't know. It's just a gamble, right? It's literally just gambling.
Yep. Absolutely. Understand fully what you're getting yourself into and set expectations properly. Or you do what Gunther Card said.
It's better than D's.
Starring you, the chat. All right. Jordan Scott 84 says, what's a better way to describe these cards that we see at auction all the time? Is it better to describe them as iconic and desirable or blank?
Milk?
Milk cards. Commodity cards. Yeah?
I don't know. Is the joke that like how many different ways can you possibly describe a card that we see every single month? Like how many unique descriptions can you come up with for that?
I think that's right. And tying this kind of back in to the sports card consistent 200 million a month sales volume, if there's this consistent pool of $200 million a month being spent on cards, but prices are going down, that means there's too many. Well, not too many is a subjective opinion. What it means is that there's more cards coming to market, further fracturing the amount of available money. And one thing that hypothetically could create a turning point in prices is if there's less fucking cards coming to market.
Then you might have to jump off the balcony.
Just a little food for thought there for people who might be racking their brains over.
So whose fault is that? The auction houses or the sellers?
Who told us which one, Josh?
Whose fault is that?
Whose fault is it? Well, I was talking with a hobby buddy, and he made the observation that he would have sold a card like the Brady Champ ticket as soon as it got to like 1.5 million. He would have just said, oh shit, 1.5 million, let me find somebody who will take mine off my hands privately for 1.3. And I said, that's great, and that's a great decision for you, but understand that if everybody thinks that way, prices will never stay at the high price. So sellers have a role. Anybody, who's actively inducing people to sell cards plays a role. Macroeconomic conditions play a role. And it's people's right to sell their cards. It's people's right to say, hey, I had a great run. Time to let this card go. But by the same token, if we're trying to understand the mechanics of how prices are changing when the available supply of money being spent on the cards is fixed, there's a really easy math equation there that says, well, if $200 million is being spent on cards every month consistently, but prices are going down, it's probably because there's more cards available now.
Yeah.
Than there were. What do you say, Josh? Who's at fault?
Oh, who's at fault? I just think it's like the greater free market at play. Like I don't think it's really under any one individual's control. Like it's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen whether we want it to or not.
Bingo. It's not. It's no. There's no person who can push a switch, change it one way or the other. You know, everybody's gonna act in what they believe is their best interest.
I think the only thing that I can point to that has something that I wish hadn't happened, and there's a question coming up about 3 wishes or something. It was just around the over exuberance amongst the content creating community when the prices were going up.
Yep.
To like push people to jump into this in terms of the investing. And I wish we would have had more restraint on that form, because I just feel that the reason that we're seeing the prices come down so much is just primarily because it went up so much, right? You're just seeing this huge tipping point of like, okay, the prices have reached this point where people that were in it, that were collectors, are now almost forced to sell because the price they can't justify the price of it anymore, given like their life situation. And then the people that bought it, you know, on its way up are selling, so they don't want to take a loss. Like, so it's this flood of both camps sort of selling, and nobody really wanted to ever get to that point. And it was only because we were pushed up so fast.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree. All right, next topic that had 4 questions. Gouty Gum says, can we discuss 21 sales of the Brady Contenders in 2020?
Are you serious? Is that a real number?
21 times the Brady Contenders champ ticket. So the card that's numbered to 100 is sold 21 times publicly.
Wow.
In 2022. Publicly. Oh, I'm sorry. 21. There's 20 public sales and 1 privately reported sale.
Yeah.
New York Giants card guy says, let's discuss the Brady champ ticket rookie card selling 21 times this year. PK Card says, how many more Brady champ tickets will sell in 2023? And Modest Card Collection says, can we set an over-under on how many Brady champ tickets will hit the auction block in 2023? You want to start there?
All those questions are just that one card?
Just the Brady champ ticket.
I'm surprised more people didn't talk about the LeBron RPA. They're pretty similar at this point. It seems like there's one of each.
Well, sort of. There was 11 exquisite LeBron RPAs that sold last year. 20, sold this year. Sold in the year 2022, and 21 Brady champ tickets. And the one's numbered to 99, the other's numbered to 100.
Well, I mean, I've said Brady holders are the weakest of all the hands, so that lines up with my theory. I don't know, man. That card is. I still think it's a great card. I don't understand why people are selling it so much. It's by far and away his best card, and it's serial numbered, and it's rookie. You know, and he didn't have a big fanfare for his rookie year, so he didn't have a lot of cool. He wasn't in all the big sets, and that's really like his main card. And there's not really a second. So, if I was a Brady collector, I'd be trying to snatch one up right now.
Yep. How many will we see in 2023? I think fewer than 2022. You know, people, like, selling a card can be similar to, you know, selling something else that, you know, it can take months or weeks to fully put it into action, because you have to get it to a consignment outfit in most situations, and then you have to wait until the next auction can run and stuff. So it can take time. And then the auction has to run, and it usually goes for a few weeks. So these decisions to sell the card are playing out on a lag. You know, so like when the card sells for $2 million, there's 10 people, you know, maybe of the 99 holders of that card who suddenly start sweating. and the beads start trickling down, and it's hard for them to sleep, and they're thinking to themselves, probably time for me to sell this card. And then so maybe 3 of them come to that realization quickly, so like the first month after they're sending them in, and then 3 more come to that realization 2 or 3 months later, and then a few more decide to bring up the caboose and sell 6 months down the line. So these decisions are happening on a lag, but it, to me, is pretty clearly the inducement. The inducement is the headline grabbing $2 million sale that influences people to say, "Fuck, I bought this card for $6,000, and it's $2 million now. Time to let this card go." And we don't have it anymore. The last sale was like $600,000, $660,000. So some of the inducement factor is gone. A big percentage of it is gone. However, now the inducement factor is, should I bail now or risk it going down further and never going back up? So that's a slightly different inducement factor. But on the whole, unless we see another $2 million sale happen to that card, I think 2023 is going to see fewer sales in 2022.
Doesn't it still kind of amaze you, though, that the card reached $2 million and less than a fifth of the cards in population hit public auction? Because it's not 21 unique. It's probably like 15 or 16 because a few are dupes. But, like, isn't that still kind of, if you want to do the math, it's still kind of crazy that people, let's say like 70 people own one, only 12 or 13 of them sold, and they saw the card hit 2 million. I'm not sure what the story behind that is, but still kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's also interesting that even in the condition of a PSA 8, it's worth $660,000. That's pretty crazy as well.
I still can't afford one, right? Like I still can't buy one, so like what?
Exactly.
It's not that cheap.
No. How big of douchebags in the hobby do we sometimes sound like when we complain that our cards have fallen to be worth $660,000?
Some of my favorite posts after these auctions is like, everyone's kind of going back and forth in these recaps of all these. The recaps usually start from the top down price wise, and there's like Tyler and Chris Cards, Casey, they'll post like them pictures of them being sad, being like, "Look, me still not being affected by any of these cards because I can't afford any of this shit."
Yeah, we have a question from Chris Cards, Casey, since you gave him a shout out. So you want to let's just do his question now. It's actually a surprise. It's a very nuanced question here that has far-reaching implications. Chris Cards KC says, does it hurt Josh's feelings that everybody hates the Suns?
It kind of does. It kind of beats me down. Like, I don't know what it is about the Suns. People just really hate us. Is it because, like, we sucked for so long and now we're good? And, like, are we, like, pompous about it or something? I'm not sure.
People are just jealous of your success.
For 2 years?
I mean,
It's been 2 out of 12 years. We've been trashed for so long.
Suns are a bit of a polarizing team because, it's a very aggressive, macho team from Devin Booker on down,
Yeah,
so
I get it.
You're going to love them or you're going to hate them, pretty much. I kind of fall in the middle, to be honest with you. I was rooting for them so hard to beat the Celtics.
I use the word macho when I think of Devin Booker.
Oh, Lord. Let's not split hairs.
Like, that's not a word that comes to mind.
Well, I would prefer this over the way that the world feels about the Cardinals, which is I don't give a shit, apathetic, because they suck so bad that they're not worth my time.
Only thing worse than being hated is being ignored.
So that's where we're at.
Let's go. All right. Mad City Collector says, what do local card shops offer that make you want to visit them?
Derek Jeter watches.
And what could they offer that would appeal to you as a seasoned collector going forward?
I prefer like the sort of like trade night vibe of a card shop. Like I personally don't get much out of the whole like wax game. Plus, you can kind of get a lot of that stuff online. You go to the shop for like the experience and the connectivity of meeting other people in person. So I like shops to offer more of the event-based type stuff.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I like my favorite card shop experience is when I go in and I feel like I'm in this totally different world. And I don't feel like I'm a customer in a retail outlet. I feel like I'm part of a community and I'm in on the secret when I'm in the shop. And the shop owner's talking to me, or there's banter going on over here about, you know, prospects in baseball or something, or the big games coming up on Sunday, or new cards that are in the showcase or something. I like to feel like I'm just part of this alternative reality that I can escape to and that's available to me. That's the experience I crave. And the experience that's not as desirable is the manufactured, commercialized, you know, I walk into the store, hey, what are you trying to buy? Can I sell you on this? You know, that's not the move. That's not what's going to keep me coming back.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the question that should be asked when someone walks into a card shop is, what do you collect, not what can I sell you?
Nice.
And that, I think, makes or breaks the experience.
When you guys lived in LA, I feel like you guys had this super strong connection to Bullpen LA because of the events that were always going down. Didn't you guys like meet the person who owned the Luca RPA at Bullpen LA? Like, you kind of owe card shop experiences to owning that card, right?
Dude, not only did we acquire our Luca RPA by being at a trade night where a guy who pulled it in the shop happened to be at the same trade night and they told us about it, you know, and so the connection was made. Not only do we have Bullpen to thank for that, but when we picked up the McCaffrey Prism Black 101 recently, it was a guy who we met and knew through trade nights who saw the card on Instagram and then contacted us, and then we were able to meet at the common Bullpen LA. And there is an amazing sports card shop culture in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Many great shops that facilitate that experience.
Because the card show experience to me a lot of times is like, I kind of have already seen a lot of that stuff because they're usually dealers that have big presences. So like I've seen a lot of their stuff at trade nights. It's like a lot of mystery. It's a lot of new stuff you haven't seen. It's collectors mingling and nobody has the upper hand. So I've always been drawn to the whole trade night thing, and to have it at a card shop just kind of adds to the, you know, the ambiance and the experience of it, to have within a shop surrounded by people who are, you know, have some skin in the game of the hobby.
Definitely. All right. Iowa Dave says, sometimes I get so caught up in the chase for new cards that I don't appreciate what's already in my collection. Does this ever happen to you? And how often do you just sit back and look at what's in your own collection?
This is a great topic. It's one of my favorites right now. I couldn't agree more. I mean, it might be because I feel like I'm at a point where there's not like a ton of stuff that I'm like dying to have. That'll obviously change as I add new player PCs potentially or expand into new areas. But right now I feel pretty good about my existing PC, so I'm in this phase of like enjoying it right now. So that question really resonates.
And what would you say, how often are you taking the time to appreciate the collection you've already built as opposed to focusing singularly on how can I make it better? How can I add more cards to it?
Like a percentage? Or he's saying like how many times I look at my cards?
Percentage. What's the
I
happy
don't know.
medium, you know?
I mean, it's probably still like less than 50. Like I'm still mostly chasing and looking. So I'm not gonna lie. I would love to say that it's like 90-10, but it's probably like 30%.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It definitely helps having your cards in your possession, I think.
A single tear runs down your face.
Oh man, I have one card in my possession at this time that I would consider even close to PC. Okay. It's not fun. All right. LSU Tiger Collector 65 says, if you were appointed sports card czar,
Here we go. This one.
name 3 things that you would change immediately.
I would ban like specific content creators immediately. You get a lifetime
No hesitation at all. Yeah, go ahead.
blackball. You get blacklisted, blackballed. It's like I'm serving you like a warrant kind of thing. Like you're getting served.
Good. All right. What else? You have 2 more wishes.
Well, now you step in with your number 2.
All right. I'll give number 2. And it feels kind of dumb wasting a wish on this, but it's important. I would get the damn products back on schedule.
Oh, that's a huge one. I love that one.
It's just stupid because we shouldn't have to waste a wish.
We shouldn't have to waste a wish on any of these, my guy.
That's true. That's true. And then I'm going to do the third. I'm going to offer up a third one.
Yeah.
I wish every single person in the hobby eventually is able to, the market and the hobby, things are able to adjust so that everybody values their cards more than their market value. When we get to that point, we'll have a truly prosperous secondary market.
So you want like 2017?
Maybe, even then people were still selling stuff. So
That's a good one.
Christina, do you have one? I turned this into 3 wishes from a genie, but as Joe aptly points out, where's ours? We're handing down decrees. I don't know if I should have asked Christina this.
I'm gonna get in trouble, so I should probably
Pass. Christina says pass. All right. Modest card collection. Okay, so we had like 3 people want this. So somebody's knowing. Modest card collection says, can you make some predictions for the hobby in 2023? Because we are at this year-end point. The 41st pick says, hobby predictions for 2023. And Card Shop Dad wants to know, is 2023 the year that washes out all the investor bros? So, predictions, 2023.
2022 didn't do that? We need another year to wash them out?
I think a lot of them are washing out right now.
I was going to say, I think we might finish before this year. They might be all gone by the time 2023 start. I never like these prediction questions, to be fully honest. Like, I don't even, because they could go any number of ways. Like, am I predicting, the market, the indexes? Am I predicting the themes from content creators? Am I predicting the product and its success and enjoyment from the hobby and the products that come out? I don't know. What am I predicting?
I know. I hate these as well.
I won.
Yes, please.
I'm predicting 2023, the year of MJ. In Chicago, this national will be very collector focused, end user focused of picking up cards. Like, you won't have people coming, like, you'll have people buying Grails to like hoard them in Chicago this year.
Yes. So, here's my prediction. Here's my prediction for 2023.
Bleeker says we're going to buy more cards. That's a good prediction.
Good prediction. My prediction for 2023 is that the industry will expand at a modest rate, maybe 8 to 10%, maybe up to 20. Card prices will stabilize, and all great collectors will have the opportunity to add at least 1 or 2 Grails at a price point that's well within their budget, and those cards will bring them and their collections great joy. And on the whole, people will enjoy the hobby more than ever, and every person's PC prospect does amazingly well. The retired players that they collect
Oh my God.
just increase in prestige even further.
Jeez.
And it's just a great year all around for
If
everybody.
anyone ever says this show's too negative, let me just point you to this little clip right here.
Seriously.
Just a bold prediction.
And then we all stand around and sing Kumbaya together.
Yo,
Yeah.
Jordan, that's exactly it, dude. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. All right. That's. I'm campaigning for sports card office.
You even threw a bone to the investors. The market's going to stabilize, so everyone can relax.
Yeah, I don't think the investors don't want it to stabilize. The investors are like, when is it going to 10x again?
Well, I was talking about this on that interview I did with Dennis this week, which is coming out soon, hopefully yours as well. I know we've made this statement before. We usually talk about like how we would just be so happy if our collections went up like 5% a year. And on this, I went as far to say, dude, I would be thrilled if it fucking went 0% every year forever. Like I could just buy a card and that was what it was worth forever. I would be so happy.
Bingo. All right. All right. That's great. That's good. All right.
You know we love Dennis Mulgraves around here.
AP Cards 23. Question on 90s basketball. Why are some cards that are low population, have difficult pack odds, and they look great, why are they so cheap? As an example, the only good card I pulled as a kid was a 1993 Upper Deck Behind the Glass redemption card. It's a beautiful hollow foil insert set that was hard to pull. So I was shocked when I came back to the hobby in July and discovered almost 30 years later it's worth about $40. I'm keen to understand the mechanics of value better because sometimes it makes sense and there's a Pop Infinity card that costs $20, but sometimes it's a Pop 12 card or something, or an insert set that was 1 in 34 pack odds, and it's still dirt cheap. I find that interesting.
I don't know. This one's tough. It's like some combination of like, desirability because of its aesthetics or its like popularity within the hobby. There's usually a few reasons that kind of make it be that way. It's like because I'm thinking 93, there wasn't really serial numbered cards at the time, so it might get kind of washed up with the rest of the cards from that era. Like it's hard for something to stand out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think there's one aspect of this always is how easy is it to go on eBay and buy a box and just open packs and hit the card? How much is that going to cost you? But it's a chicken or the egg problem, right? Because it's like, well, the box doesn't cost much because the card doesn't cost much. But if the card was worth more, then the boxes would go up in value. It's tough, but I think that's a part of this equation. Is how easily could you just open packs and get to it if you wanted to do it that way? And for 90s stuff, like you can do it. Like we've been back 4 or 5 years ago, we would buy 1993, 94 Ultra boxes, and we would, there was one Scoring Kings in every box. If you open 10 boxes, you're going to get the Jordan. And or the odds are that you'll get the Jordan because there's nine or 10 cards in the set, I think. And so, the boxes were $40 a piece. For $400, you should be able to rip your way to a Michael Jordan. So I think that's a factor, is how much wax is available and how easy is it to get it. But sometimes there's really not a logical, rational explanation for price. I think that's a situation as well. Do you have any other thoughts on this, Josh?
Kinda. I'm not saying that the question asker is wanting this to be like an undervalued type question, but we as collectors, individuals who enjoy something more than others, we kind of like reach for that, like this thing's undervalued. But you can just kind of enjoy it on your own and not worry about where it stands in the hobby hierarchy. And as much as we want to ignore or not give credit to the major brands, and we want to say something else is actually undervalued, like Prism and PMGs and that stuff like has a lot of weight in this space, and it's something that like I feel like these other spaces that try to infiltrate us are really struggling to figure out. Is like there's a reason we prefer Prism sports cards physical. There's a reason we like autographs and patches versus this new sort of contrived thing that gets thrown at us, because we appreciate the longevity and the brand of something that's been built up over decades. And they've really struggled to figure that out. Like you can't just, create something overnight and make it digital and then tell me it's going to be amazing when like I have 10, 15, 20 years of equity built up in these brands, right? That's just the way it is.
Definitely. All right.
We're just
Cardboard.
schooling NFTs. We're schooling NFTs all night. Just deal with it.
Dude, we are not going to miss an opportunity to dunk on NFTs. All right.
Mimi Dunk, isn't that an NFT?
All right. Cardboard Insights says, it seems like we all draw inspiration from other people's collections. Very true. And this seems good, it's necessary, and it's unavoidable. Is there a point, though, where you should put some distance between yourself and studying other people's collections to make sure that the cards you're picking up are the ones you really like and you're not being overly influenced or sucked into hype?
100%. 100%. There's always a balance between, I mean, this to me goes to the topic of inspired versus influenced. Like, do you take inspiration from something that someone's done? Like, let's say you found a collection online that you really enjoy. You're not necessarily going to just copy what they've done, but you're inspired to say, hey, this is what they've done. Here's what I can learn from how they built this PC, or what, I can see like patterns and things emerge from what they like. How can I sort of take what I like and build something similar-ish, but not just straight copy them because, I think this person's, figured out the money tree. Here's how you just like replicate making money, right? It's like, how can I be inspired to kind of build my own version of this?
Right on. All right. Great. This is a topic that gets me a little bit fired up. Courtside Junkie says, does the gap between sports cards and game used memorabilia make sense? And the answer to that question is no. The gap should be much larger in favor of sports cards. And then second, Kobe 81-23-1996-13, aka Mohammed, says, let's discuss a game-used rookie jersey versus a rookie patch autograph card. And I'm going to politely say no, let's not, because this isn't a community built around game-used memorabilia. This is a community built around sports cards. Sports cards are the things we collect as kids. Those are the things that have these communities on Instagram, on Twitter, on social media. They have the YouTube content creators. Why doesn't Game Used have that? Why can't I go on Instagram and find 100,000 Game Used memorabilia collector pages? It's a different thing, and it's something that I don't care about. I didn't come into sports card collecting because of Game Used memorabilia. I don't care about it. I came in because I like cards, and that's what I'm here to do. And my collection has so much improvement that could take place, and there's so many cards that I'd like to get that I don't have, that there's never, ever going to be a time ever when I'm going to say, yeah, I really love this card, but maybe I could slide in a game-used shin guard of Christian McCaffrey. That's just never going to happen. I don't know. A glove. Or, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander wears these obnoxious butt pads.
Yes, he does.
Not going to do that either. This is something that, is so fundamental. Dude, sports cards should be worth infinity more than game-used memorabilia to someone like me. Because I don't give a shit about these used articles of sports clothing and accessories and shoulder pads and so on and so forth.
Can I give you an anecdote to support your claim here?
Please. Let me land this plane.
I always like to somehow think about it in these terms, but if someone came to my home and I was going to show them my collection of cards, I think they can just they can basically stand on their own. They might ask me a few questions like, what's the significance of this card? What's the difference between this one and this one? But you could basically have them go through a box of cards and they could make their own opinions on it. They could look through it. They could say, I like the look of this one. I don't like this. I understand why this one's cool. It's got an autograph. If I showed you a rack of jerseys, the person would have so many questions. They'd be like, oh, did you get these at Walmart, or are these worn by the player? Or are the what am I looking at? What's the difference between this? You have to sit there and step in and be like, oh, this was actually game 3 of the 2014 season, when they were on the road and he scored 19 points. They're like, oh, okay. I couldn't have told the difference between that and the ones at Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm sorry, they look all the same to me.
Yeah, good point. Good point. But I'll say this. I'll say this in defense of game used memorabilia items. They will always have value. Game used items will always have value. And it's for one reason and one reason only. Because we cut them up and put them in sports cards.
I was like, oh my God, are you about to change sides here? What is going on?
Nope, I'm just tripling down with a little build-up along the way. All right.
Well done. Nice rug pull.
Thank you. Well, I've seen a lot of rug pulls over the last 2 years, so.
You want to do your own?
Yeah, it was my turn. All right. NorCal Cards. With a big question for you, sir. Would Josh be interested in reacquiring a LeBron Exquisite RPA if it continues to fall? And I know this is on a lot of people's minds, but they don't want to pry. But what do you say?
Yeah, it's been coming up more recently that I, bought one and then sold one. Especially with us sort of like standing on the side of stop sending your cards to auction when I myself sold my most expensive cards last year.
So it was during a different time. It was not during, a flood of stuff, like in fairness to you.
But it's no secret that the value of the RPA now is about less than half than what I sold mine for. So it's becoming more and more enticing to get one back and flex the muscle of, hey, look, I got one back and I made some money on it.
I hear you, man. I would be thinking the same thing.
There's definitely, I'm like, at this point, I'm picky about the grade and the patch and the auto if that were to happen.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to, if the perfect situation comes up, I would do it, but I'm not seeking it out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
Because there's plenty to choose from at this point. I've got options.
Yeah, and you can't help probably but feel at this time there's not much urgency. Whereas I remember when you got yours, they weren't selling every month. There was a real sense of man, I need to pounce on this. Yeah. Because I don't know when I'm going to get another chance.
I would love a nice PSA 5 with a 10 auto and a really nice patch. That's kind of my lane right now. I would love that.
Yeah, I hear that. Okay. Mike,
6 or something.
Mike Pinkerton 50 says, how are sports card shows in your local area? Doing great by me, says Mike.
Well, you guys have one of the best shows right now near you.
Yeah, well, we went to the most recent one.
We went to September. We've been to both since we moved here.
Yeah, and what I loved about it? There was on-site card grading going on, which is always super exciting. I love that. I love getting cards graded at show and getting them back. And, dude, there was an amazing floor to walk. Lots of great display cases.
A lot of people come in, so it's nice, having people come to you.
Yeah, you get to see a lot of cool. You get to see a lot of good people.
Yeah,
they're good, man. I'm not blown away. I'm not blown away by the state of the card show scene right now. But we'd be pretty stupid sounding if we can go to the Dallas Card Show and we're like, yeah, it sucks.
How do you feel in terms of the show having less foot traffic, less people for your own enjoyment versus you'd love to see the hobby prosper and have these things packed? How do you balance that?
Yeah, I don't get into the action at card shows. You know this. I just float around the periphery and just kind of soak up the vibes. I never bring cards. I'm usually not making deals. So I like the big show because I like the energy. I feed off of the energy of the big show. But that's not typical. Most people want space to be able to fucking walk and so on and so forth. And I think, a little less foot traffic, but a little more breathing room and ability to maneuver is a good thing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. All right, Doc collects cards. Dude, we had some there was just some spice in the questions.
People
this week
are getting salty as they should. People are losing money. There's a lot of action going on, a lot of drama, a lot of hate. Let's bring it on.
Let's go. Doc Collects Cards says, what are your thoughts on flippers adding players' statistics to their Instagram story sales? Is this a good sales tactic? Which I found this to be a very amusing,
There's only
presumably rhetorical question.
There's like one specific. I'm only going to do this one specific instance. It doesn't annoy me. It just kind of makes me chuckle. Where they're like, "He had 30 points last night. Better buy this card quick before what? Before he scores 30 again, or he scores 10 tomorrow? Like, what do you mean? It's not like an overnight. Like he scored 30, double the price. Buy this motherfucker."
That's how people want it to work.
Bull had 10 last night.
Yeah. When people look to collect cards, though, they're not looking at one night's performance. They're looking mostly, I think, at the possibility of legacy.
I don't even think that's like Flipper's short term. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is kind of like, if we're talking about this topic, he's on this like sort of hot run right now. Yep. But it's over like 20, 30 games. Like people are just now after 30 games being like, okay, he's top 10 in like all the major categories. Now it's, a point where I can start pulling the stats.
Yes. And, Sadiq Bey scored over 50 points in a game last year. So just kind of understanding, how statistics work in sports is helpful to fend off, to fend off basically.
Well, you've been using this on the Tua thing. Talk about this topic as it relates to Tua real quick.
Well, I love sports statistics. I think it's one of the reasons I love it so much is because it's largely undiscovered. It's unearthed. I was watching ESPN a week or two ago when I was sick and recuperating, and there was a segment on ESPN's NFL show where the hosts were looking at each other and they were like, why is this guy's QBR so high? They were like, we need to tweak the QBR formula so that it matches what we think it should be. And I was like, you guys work for ESPN and you don't know how ESPN's proprietary industry-leading quarterback rating metric works.
It's their own stat. It's literally their stat.
I'm like, you guys are paid probably a lot of money to be on TV and talk about football, and you don't know how QBR works.
Who was the player? Was it Tua?
No. It was not. It was a guy who had like an outlier good week, and people were like, "How can this QBR be so high? Oh my god!" Because that's how it always works with advanced stats. For people who don't understand them, they look at the advanced stat and they say, "This can't be right. It doesn't match what I think it should say." That's not. You're not doing it right. You're supposed to look at the advanced stat and say, "What can I learn from this? Maybe I'm missing something that's being captured in the metric." But the pride of the sports fan says otherwise. Okay, so to talk about Tua. Tua is still having a really good year, but it's not special anymore. So 2 weeks ago, Tua was in the top 5 all time for quarterback rating and for passer rating for an entire season. And he was undefeated in games that he started and finished. It was amazing. It was a really special run. But looking ahead, he also had a tough schedule. And the last 2 weeks, he's had the lowest or one of the lowest quarterback ratings in the league. He's lost twice in a row to pretty good. I mean, the Chargers defense isn't that special. The 49ers defense is good. And his quarterback rating has now sunk all the way to second. And his passer rating is second as well. What's interesting? Mahomes is first in QBR now, and Jalen Hurts is first in passer rating. And those are your 2 MVP candidates. But Tua, hats off to Tua. He had a really nice run, but he's laid 2 straight eggs that will now prevent this from being a historic season. So
the Chargers defense is bad. They're like 3rd in the league, 3rd bottom in points per game allowed.
Yeah, they are not a great defense, but that was the game that clinched Tua's non-MVP candidacy on the big.
Did you listen to the Simmons pod yesterday?
Yes, it was great. That was Ben Slolak in peak form. I loved it. It was amazing.
They were just like all over Herbert's nuts. They love Justin Herbert on that show. Did you hear those guys? They're just like, eye test, analytics. He just needs a better coach. Herbert's the best.
Yeah, and that's when, for people who totally understand analytics and who religiously watch tape,
yeah,
those people can have the edge of all edges because they can understand a player who might be on the precipice of ascending to analytics.
But you know why those guys spend so much time watching tape?
Why?
Because their fucking content is around making people money, and they can't be wrong.
Bingo.
It's always been your take. When are we going to get to that take in regular sports and maybe even in sports cards? Like, you can't be wrong.
I would love it. Well, in sports cards, there are penalties for being wrong now. Oh, yeah. Oh.
What if Charles Barkley, his life was on the line to actually get it right? Would he change his takes? Would he spend more time figuring out analytics? Probably.
That's a safe bet. Yeah, that's a safe bet. Yeah. Yep. But the NFL MVP race is a great race. I have Mahomes slightly ahead because of the metrics, but Hurts is right there with him, and we still have 23% of the season yet to be played. There are still 4 games of 17 yet to be played. So if you're not paying attention to the NFL MVP race, I would check it out because it's really fascinating right now.
Dude, I used to like need fantasy to, give me that extra juice to want to watch all the random games. But now with advanced analytics and all these rankings and stuff, I want to watch every game for that. Like, I want to see how these these individual games and plays sort of like make the whole ecosystem unfold. There's so much interesting data floating around that's my new sort of fantasy. Fantasy football is fun and everything, but I just love all this stuff now. Like, you and I were talking when I was in Dallas, like, oh, that's going to move him down. That's going to screw up this guy's pump and dump over here. That's going to, mess up this guy's narrative on his content. Let's make him look stupid, or this is going to make that guy look good. It's fascinating.
Agreed. Love it. Okay. Moving on. Another Mike Pinkerton 50 question. He says, should we ban all negativity in the hobby? Quite the opposite, Mike. Quite the opposite.
Let the hate flow. Let the hate flow.
Let the hate flow.
I just, I pray that someone, I just hope that someone comes at me with something so I could bring the hate. I'm waiting for it.
Dude, haters and waiting. Waiting in the wings.
We'll send them to the doctor's office, don't worry.
All right. Cardboard Insights brings up a sensitive topic.
Sensitive?
On the topic of card art, I like some of it. I saw a post a little bit ago where a card artist cut up a gold vinyl card numbered to 5 as part of their piece. And I put this question to my followers, and I got some interesting results. Some mentioned that it is the owner's right to do with that card as they please. Others mentioned that it seemed wrong. I kind of hold both views. Is it wrong to destroy a card purposely that could be the pursuit of another collector? And more broadly, is there a duty that each hobby participant owes to the collective hobby as a whole? Is it right to cut up a Prism Gold vinyl out of 5? Christina's going to feel strongly about
I don't care about the Prism Gold.
Don't you be cutting up no fast break neon green.
Yeah, don't come at my fucking neon green out of 5 Maxi Klebas, because that would be like the ultimate sin. And I'm sure that there is someone who's putting together the rainbow of that out of 5, because rainbow collectors are quiet, but that community is large. And they probably saw that and legit got sick to their stomach, because that might have been the only one in public eye.
There you go.
Right.
Say, Josh.
Remember when that breaker? I don't remember the details, but they cut up that Lori Markkinen Nebula.
Yep.
Dude, What if I collected Laurie Markkinen? What if that was a freaking McCaffrey and you're going after every one-on-one? How pissed off would you be?
It'd be terrible. It'd be if one of those Prism Black base, it just got like shredded. I mean, I'd be.
I have
really
this
pissed.
I'll take it even further. I have this theory where, especially with serial numbered cards, like I feel we as a community have this like duty to make sure that all of these cards kind of get to be in the right place. Jordan Hagedorn talks about this all the time. If you ever chat with him in private, like he says this a lot. He says like these cards belong with people, like individual cards belong to certain people, and so to have it like removed from circulation when the intention is a big part of it. The intention from Panini was that there'd be 5 of these cards, and you're taking that out of the intent of the creator of the card to now be 4 without permission. No thanks. I don't like that.
Yep, I think that's it. That sums it up right there. All right. Bangers and Wax says, what is one Topps insert that you would like to see included in the first new licensed Topps NBA set? One insert.
Topps insert?
Yeah. And what I'm going to go with, even though there's lots of great ones, like Triumvirate is one of the great, well, I guess that's Stadium Club, but that's still Topps. The Topps insert that always I thought was really sharp looking was the Topps, not the Topps Chrome, the Topps Season's Best 97, 98. That's real sparkly. The original white sparkle, if you will. But it wasn't white. It was, blue and red and green. But I always thought that Season's Best 97, 98 Topps was a good-looking insert. That's what I'm going for.
I like the Stadium Club stuff. That's not an insert, but some of those Stadium Club, like, what's that MJ one where he's doing the backwards dunk?
The
one of
a kind.
One of a kind, yeah. I like stuff like that.
Yep.
That's a parallel, probably, but.
Yep. I love. Yep. Christina has done it.
I don't know Topps products.
Yeah, I didn't really. I'm struggling to come up with Topps in the chat. The East and West.
That's a cool one.
Was mentioned.
I like the
Okay.
MJ.
Beam Team in the chat.
Beam Team. There you go. That's it. It's Beam Team. That's the answer.
Yeah, it would have to be Beam Team.
It's Beam Team for sure.
I
Okay.
think what this teaches me is I need to open more Topps products.
Also, that's Stadium Club. I don't know if we're counting Stadium Club.
When is Fanatics gonna start making cards? Are we just like that topic's gone away? I thought they bought Panini or whatever. That's not happening.
Well, no, it didn't. And that is a question that Lights Camera Cards had. They said, when are we going to see Fanatics start to make some noise again? It feels like since their big acquisitions, it's been all quiet on the Western Front. Could it come earlier than we anticipate? There you go. You're not the one thinking that, buddy.
Well, I've like long been nervous that whole thing went down when the market was really, really strong, and how are they going to react as a business to like, hey, not everything's going to be up and right with cards, so you're going to have to actually care about it and figure it out and get down in there and want to do it for real. I've been secretly nervous about that, and this fact that we haven't heard anything is kind of why I was nervous.
Fair. Well, I think one of the best things they have going for them right now is that they acquired the Topps brand, and they kept great people in place who have a long history in this hobby, and I think there's a lot of steering of the ship
That's a good
happening
point.
by those people.
That's a good point. They didn't just like come in and corporatize it and tear it apart.
Well, I don't know if that's happening or not, but I do know that like at this juncture, there's good industry veterans working at Topps who have been there for a long time and who are making sure that the products keep on coming out. And you look, I mean, I have no reason to think that Fanatics doesn't want to get in there, get their hands dirty, and do it. You know, I mean, Michael Rubin just won some big award as like the sports businessman of the year, I think.
The Fanatics, like the business outside of cards, is still killing it with Fanatics. I know that.
Absolutely. What was the
Yeah, as Yamwax says, card collecting's still brutal. I'm waiting for them to fix that for me.
We need to stop with that as a joke because people think we're serious.
Sports Executive of the Year? Maybe that's what it was. Sports Executive of the Year.
Ooh, Brendan Ryan. Fragile. It must be Italian.
There we go. All right. Not Yamwax. What's up, Yamwax? Okay. Drake's PC, who, like, honestly, if I was doing the analytics, if I sat down and tried to come up with MVP of question askers based on efficiency, quality, production, contribution, I think Drake's PC might get the MVP for 2022. He comes with the question, autograph cards have been a hot topic this week. Manufacturers who primarily use sticker autographs have defended the sticker autographs, saying that they are less likely to have ink loss over time compared to on-card. Several 90s and early 2000s cards with on-card autographs, such as Peyton Manning's Contenders autograph, do have a history of poor autograph quality. As an autograph collector, autograph card collector, should I be concerned about on-card autographs fading over time? Or is this more of a marketing pitch by sticker autograph manufacturers?
I mean, at first listen, it sounds like it's a marketing pitch. It's more about like the technology on the surface of the card. Like those Contenders ones were never really very, very good at handling the autographs. Some of the newer card stock has improved over time, and they're better with it now. Especially like if you're getting a paper card, it's obviously going to do much better than the chrome cards and the foily cards like those Contenders. So I would say it's more about like instead of pointing out, hey, Contenders were bad at handling the autos, that's why we made stickers. Well, no, you could have actually improved the surface of the card to do better with it instead of just like leaning into stickers. So it feels more like a marketing thing.
Indeed. Would you rather have, this is a question that came up on Clubhouse today or yesterday, would you rather have a PSA 10 auto 10 of a sticker autograph or a PSA 7 no autograph grade of an on-card autograph?
How does the autograph look though on the card?
Good enough.
The other the 7.
Yeah, I think that's where we end up. But the exercise does bring into focus that there is something to be said about having a really crisp presentation even if it happens via sticker autograph, if you've got the gem mint condition going. But like if you look at, say, 2000s era triple autographs of LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan, and some of them are sticker and some of them are on card, even the on card ones that are authentic grade, not PSA 7 even, will do way better than high grade sticker autographs. At least that's what I've seen in my limited research for that topic, in that subject matter. So it seems to me that when it comes to the market, like and that's a good situation, like to compare. I think the market is going to strongly favor the on card.
Yeah, it's just this aesthetics for me. I just don't like the look of the sticker, like literally being stuck onto the card. It just looks weird to me.
Yep, it just presents a mental obstacle to overcome.
Yes, exactly.
And like the best card is the card that presents zero mental obstacles in zero things standing in between me and my enjoyment of it.
Yeah, it's just it's like a flow thing. Like, does it look like it's supposed to be there? When you stick it on after the fact, it's like, well, maybe it wasn't supposed to be there. My biggest pet peeve is the freaking Prism cards with the damn sticker auto. Like, I would literally just rather take the sticker off and have a regular Prism card. I never understood that. Maybe I know some people like that, but like a gold Prism card with a sticker auto, it's like, maybe we just slide that sticker auto right off there and have a sweet base Prism gold card.
I know. All right. Speaking of MVPs of question asking on the crossover, cards and candy.
Oh my god! Please don't ask me the MVP of the basketball so far.
No.
So sick of the fun.
No questions on that.
Thank God
Cards and Candy 911, who was once an MVP, right? Asks, when people sell cards that they posted on their Instagram, after it sells, should they delete the post or keep it up?
I like when people put like sold over the post.
Yes. Yep. I think that's the sweet spot. If you want to keep it up as part of your collecting history, but make it clear that you don't own it.
I like to know that it's sold, and I think that's interesting content. Put it up,
It is.
show me, and then now I know you sold it. That's cool.
100%. Here's the situation that worries me. The situation that worries me is a person who used to have a bunch of great cards and now has none, and they post nothing but pictures of their old cards, and they position themselves as if they own all these great cards in order to build authority and in order to build credibility among collectors without disclosing that they don't own any of them anymore.
Yeah.
And so they say, look at all these great cards I once owned, look at all these great cards, and then leaving out the fact that they owned them 10 years ago. And then, then they go about making content and trying to influence people and giving out opinions that are coming from a place of credibility because it seems like they're this great collector, and they're not. And they don't own any of those cards. That's the situation that pisses me off.
Yep, agreed.
All right. Mostly 90s basketball cards. Says I'm often playing games with myself. Congratulations. to make sure that I am buying cards for the right reasons that I'll hold for a long time.
Oh, okay.
One game is you can only keep X number of cards from your PC. Let's say 5. You can only keep 5. And the rest will be taken away. But you can never sell those 5, and they will go with you until death. Let's play the game. What 5? Top 5 cards that you have to take with you to your grave.
My top 5 cards. If I'm going to play this game, I'm taking it seriously, not this like, these are my top 5, but also they're all available next month. Bullshit. I've seen that so many times. This is the Grail card. I've been after this for fucking forever. Also, it's available. What the hell?
Available once in hand.
Yeah, give me a break, man. You don't give a shit about that card. Penny Green PMG, LeBron Finest Gold, LeBron Topps Chrome Gold, rookie. Those are like the big 3, I really like my '08 Gold Choctaws and '05 Finest Gold LeBron. Love that one. There's 5. Boom.
Nice. How about 1 from each PC? McCaffrey Prism Black, Jokic Prism Black, Luka Prism Gold, MJ PMG Red. And then the 5th card,
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. Contenders 1 of 1.
There you go. That's a diplomatic way of not offending any of your collections.
All collector crews are appeased.
I refuse to do top 5s.
Nice. We should have done that. Oh, damn it. I didn't know that was an option.
We should have stopped at 4 just to fucking not have a top 5.
They will always trick you.
All right.
This group is tricky.
GGit412 says, what percentage of games of your active PC players do you watch?
Yours is better be 100 because you watch a lot of fucking games. You watch 100%.
Dude, I watch like 150% because a lot of times I watch replays. Like if I watch a game in person, I'll go watch the replay of the video later too.
I love that.
That's my.
I try to watch every.
When you read
I'm watching every LeBron game, not because of my PC, but because he's only got a few left, and I'm trying to watch them all.
Definitely. That is a great point. All right. Schmo50 2.0.
What a great name.
Great name. It says, a common thought in the hobby is putting your money into rare cards of the GOATs, like Brady and Jordan and Kobe, etc., or any other tier 1 hobby names is the safest store of value over time. Is this thought overrated? As we continue to see rare cards as players over and over, and it's tempting not to sell them. let me try that again. As we see rare cards sell these players over and over, since the value on them is high enough that it's tempting not to sell. In contrary, could it be safer to park your money into rare cards of second-level hobby names like Allen Iverson or Kevin Garnett or Drew Brees? Second Drew Brees mentioned tonight. Cue the trash can. That type of second-level player that may have Hall of Fame resumes but have a smaller but still passionate collector base. Yes, their cards might not be worth as much, but their rare cards don't seem to be available or sold as much as the Tier 1 guys, causing an effect of when one hits the market, the opportunity to grab the card might be the only time you can do it. What do you think about this?
That's a cool take.
Are Tier 2 players better investments than Tier 1? Go.
It's kind of a fun take. You kind of like have hit on this, like, because you kind of do this with like Jokic, and I won't call Luka Tier 2. He's probably more Tier 1, but like I feel like you've sort of like tried to corner this a little bit in terms of like mostly it's like we don't really want to spend a ton of money to get all the best cards of the super expensive guys. It's probably more of that angle, but I like that. Did Anthony Davis get hurt again, motherfucker, today?
I don't know. I'm avoiding that game because I haven't seen it, and I'm going to watch the replay. So I don't know.
You don't even know the score?
Do not know the score. Don't know anything.
Oh, shit. All right, well, that's the last they'll say about that.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing. This hypothesis works if Tier 1 guys continue to be extremely valuable.
Oh, okay.
If Tier 1 guys fall out of favor, then not that they fall out of favor, but I'm just like, I don't know why they said it that way. If Tier 1 players come down quite a bit in value, then it's going to be a lot harder for Tier 2 guys to keep up their value because people will revert back to Tier 1.
Makes sense. Like we're all sort of going back to like, yeah, we need MJ cards to be popular and sustain the whole market, kind of keep the rest of us afloat.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's super cool to think about and be very tempted to buy like Hakeem Olajuwon Ultra 1-of-1s from like 97, 98 masterpieces. Like it's very tempting to think about buying a card like that at like $15,000, which is what it sold for. But it makes sense to do that when, a Michael Jordan Golden Boss Refractor is $75,000 to $100,000. That's when it's like really tempting to do that. If Michael Jordan Grails are like $15,000 to $20,000, it's not nearly as tempting to want to do the second tier thing. And that the same goes for McCaffrey is a clear second tier NFL player. He doesn't even play the right position to be a Tier 1 guy. And the same goes for Le'Veon Bell. And like that PC from a value point of view will not fare well if the interest and the focus on quarterbacks scales back, comes down 50 or 60%. So you're betting on, if you're thinking about it from a market point of view, you're almost betting on continued interest in Tier 1 that's going to maintain Tier 2.
Yeah, agreed. The only part of it that I really liked about the question that was thought-provoking was the fact that you potentially could have that point at which the value is, relative to the Tier 1 guys, and it kind of withholds, but the volume is less because less of them are selling. So it kind of gives you that one little extra piece of it.
Yes. Okay. Baldy's Sports Cards, really nice guy that we met at the Dallas Card Show, and a great card letter user and advocate.
Yes. He always asks for awesome stuff for me to fix and finds bugs for me.
He's a solid dude. He has an oddly specific question. He wants to know, is sports card content strictly, quote, entertainment? And therefore, should influencers get a free pass if they give bad investment advice?
You already know my answer. Do I need to answer this one?
No, I think he just wanted to put this energy out there, and that's a question that answers itself, I think.
just wants to get me fired up and pissed off. No, they don't get a free
Yeah,
pass.
he knows what button to push.
No, they don't get a free pass.
Absolutely. And you know what? Similar to the PPP stuff from last week or a week ago, I think influencers might be pleasantly surprised with the reaction from the ordinary hobbyist if they just owned making bad investment picks.
Amen.
Limited Logos 23 says, "What are the top 5 best Michael Jordan cards?" I mean,
Wow.
that's a
Whew.
that's a 5-part crossover series if we really wanted to answer that question.
5 best Michael Jordan.
Like, what are they trolling us at this point? Like, are they like, oh, let's see how many top 5 requests we can make, and like, will they actually answer?
Right.
Do you remember what I made? I made a top 10 Michael Jordan card video.
Yeah, I
Years
remember
ago.
that video.
Those are like straight up my opinions. Like, these are the 10 cards I think are like the coolest looking, best cards.
I bet that video holds up well.
I think I said like green PMG and then like rubies and 98 PMG, and I don't remember exactly what the list looked like. Something like that.
Dude, that list right there is you put green PMG, red PMG, 98 PMG, and 97 rubies and 98 rubies. There's 5 right there.
Can't go wrong with that list.
No, you can't. What?
I said I refuse.
Any list that has like the Jordan Flair at number 1 is like, I'm out.
Christina is protesting this episode. And that's what we're going to call this episode, I think. Christina protests.
Nice.
All right. JGP Collectibles, the great Jose. Unironic fan of Vegas Dave, but we allow it. He says,
Unironic?
he says, I sense this hobby gets carried away with the word pop, as in population count, when talking about their cards. Am I the only one that gets annoyed by people referencing population counts and not having a story behind the card?
Dude, totally. There's some cards in my PC that are like PSA 6, Auto 10, Pop 1, where it's like, all right, yeah, great, you're a Pop 1 because you're the only dingus that refused to like stick with his RAW or BGS 8 copy, you moron.
Dude, this is a topic that's like gets people feeling a certain way.
The
Because
Pop stuff?
Yeah, it always boils down to like people don't want to be deceived. Like
Dude,
MK
totally.
Sports Cards had a post that, or somebody did, or maybe it was you quoting him or something. I don't know. He had something that basically boiled down to like, just don't deceive people. People just don't want to feel like they're being deceived.
Yeah. So you're saying people use Pop as like one of the first ways to deceive?
Exactly. Or it's a
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, memes are fucking art when they're done right, and they're a commentary on something in culture. And this meme is pointing out, here's this Zion PSA 1, and then his caption is 2019 Prism Zion rookie, jersey numbered grade, PSA 1, jersey numbered Pop 1, only 41,000 graded higher, none lower.
Well, the reason that we think that's funny, and the reason that I sort of overlooked what you were saying, and now that you've said it, it makes total sense to me. Like, we just don't want to be deceived, and that data is being used deceitfully. The reason that that's I overlooked that is because like having deep knowledge of the hobby is so important, and it's only something you can get by like being involved in it, for a long time, and actually having like a lot of genuine interest in it. Because if you come in and hear someone say Pop 1 about this random card, you might get tricked by that because you just don't have the knowledge, and there's not like a quick playbook that you could follow to just like learn all those weird rules that we all know and they're second nature to us, unless you're in it for a long time. So like when we say, if you want to learn a lot about the hobby, you want to learn like what's a good investment, you want to learn what cards you want to buy, like all these different topics that come up that you think you can get from a freaking YouTube channel and like overnight, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to be in the space for years. And this is a good example of that.
Absolutely. Okay. You're on a bit of a roll today, sir. All right.
Well, you know, just, you know, years of dedication, hard work.
You can get that we're still tightening up the acceptance speech.
That's a work in progress.
All right. Tasty card sandwich. I was wondering how long it would take. And the name, this guy's name is on point. Why do we limit people? Oh, I'm sorry. Why do people limit their pizza life? All types of pizza can be tasty, from the thinnest of thin to the deepest of deep and everything in between. It's time the pizza-loving world stopped arguing and started eating.
I couldn't disagree more. There's pizza, and then there's fake pizza, and there's bad pizza. There's toppings that don't belong. Disagree.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking with that question.
This is like the person asking, you know, can't we just be positive about all the content that comes out? No, I can't. Some of it's content that's good for the hobby, and some of it's bad. Pineapple pizza is bad for the pizza community. It's like, okay, it's because of this. If I go to a party and there's 50 people at this party, and the person in charge of this party is ordering pizza for all 50 people, and
I know this anecdote from you, and it's a powerful one.
I'll just keep doing it until people stop asking me. If that person has so much power, right?
Yep.
If they just fucking order 50 random pizzas that's all inclusive for the whole world of let me just like make all these crazy decisions about what pizza is, you're gonna fucking have 50 people that are like, what the hell is all this? Where's the goddamn pizza?
Right. Indeed.
Pizza is a food of the people.
Touch the Supreme.
Pizza is a food of the people.
As Josh knows, I want the veggie pizza.
That's not pizza. That's a salad on a bread and sauce pan.
It's pizza.
All right, let's move on. Enough about pizza already. Damn, I'm getting hungry.
Remember that one episode where we did this and you guys literally ordered pizza?
Dude, I'm thinking about writing down on this piece of paper, order Elliot's, and then
Yeah. Dude, you better order Elliot's. Let's go.
put in that Elliot's order. All right. Masty Cards or Masty Card says, is it a gambling addiction in the hobby? Is it influencer content or just overall stupidity? That's always, if that's one of the three options, I'm probably going there. That has prospects like Zach Wilson and Mac Jones selling for far more than all-time greats like
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Oh! So easy. It's too easy out here on these streets.
Peyton Manning, John Elway, etc. Disclaimer, I'm a big Peyton collector and clearly biased, but still interested in your thoughts.
Dude, I feel like Drake got these motherfuckers in a room together and pep talked them all, and he's like, you know what, guys, here's the game plan. All of you spread out. You ask a question this week. You go to this content creator, and we're going to spread the Peyton Manning gospel until we fucking die.
That's why he's the MVP, man. He makes his teammates better.
What was the question? I just got so excited about the Peyton Manning thing.
I know. All right, the question is it gambling addiction, influencers, or just overall stupidity that is the reason why prospects like Zach Wilson or Mac Jones far outsell all-time greats?
Yeah, I'm actually not as, I don't put my flag in this ground as much as you might think because there's just so many factors that go into people being excited about the younger guy versus the older guy. And one of them is the products I think are better today and they have more rarity built in. There's more unique cards to be able to choose from. For example, Peyton Manning doesn't have a Shield logo, a Shield auto rookie, and Zach Wilson does, and that might be appealing to people. And Peyton Manning's not playing, so people might get more enjoyment out of watching Zach Wilson and buying his cards and enjoying the prospecting and the process of all of it. So I just don't get too bogged down in it, you know.
Yep, that's about right. Agreed.
But probably.
Yep. Yeah, probably a bit of all the above, though, as well. If we're to answer the question directly, because it's a loaded question. The question presumes that it is, so there's something wrong with it. And, yeah, part of it is people like to roll the dice and have the chance at high upside, but also know that there's big downside potential. Influencers play a role. You know, even if it's just like when you go on Instagram and you see the breakers breaking the coolest cards, and you know they're getting pumped for those one-on-one rookies from the big products. You know, they're not open in 1998 playoff contenders. And then, you know, overall stupidity, that problem has plagued humankind for many, many years.
I've met a few stupid people in my life.
So
So,
all right, there we go.
I call them idiot sandwiches.
Ben, cross-country runner one, who like,
I love how you just like, you got that dialed in now. You fucking got it. You got his name down.
and I'm going to give him like the Manu Ginobili Award or the Sixth Man of the Year Award. Because, you know, he's just consistent. He comes in off the bench for a solid question every week.
I thought you were going to say because just like Ginobili, where no one could spell his name, you didn't know his name for the longest time.
That's appropriate as well. All right. His question is, what's the worst thing, legal or illegal, that you would do? Christina for your missing cleaver, Josh for the LeBron 1-of-1 Ultimate Logo Man RPA, and Chris for a PMG Green Jordans.
For free. Like we get the card for free, but we have to do this weird thing.
The worst that, yeah, you get the card for free, but you have, what's the worst legal or illegal thing you would do?
I would like to.
She's ready to go. She's like, I'm answering this one
I would like
first.
to publicly state that the three of us would never engage in illegal activities. Period. So,
Yes,
take
that's
that
what
part
that's
out
what I was
period.
that's what I was
So
going to say too.
let's take that part out of the question and just focus on what's the worst legal thing we would do.
Well, that limits my options tremendously.
I'm just thinking of all the amazing things that I want Chris to do that I know he would fucking hate so much. Like, go to back-to-back meetings, wall-to-wall meetings for a whole week, something like that. Something for me.
Let's not get carried away. We're just talking about fucking little pieces of cardboard here, all right?
Get on the plane.
Let's not get carried away.
Oh shit, she's going straight for the jugular. See, this game is more fun because we know what the three of us hate, so like we should just go at each other. We shouldn't try to like, you know, put me in a bathtub full of snakes. It's like,
all right.
No, thank you.
All right, good. I like this. All right.
Thank you. Come on, bring on. We hit you. It's your turn.
Your inbox would have to read 1 million plus unread messages. But you could have the LeBron Ultimate Logo Man 1-of-1. Do it. 1 million
you know what I would
plus. You don't even know how many it is. It's just over a million. Unread.
Yeah, but you know what I would do? I would just build a bot to like spam create like 1 billion accounts to like force them to email me and then just be like, I did it in a day. So that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. What about you? What would Christina hate?
I embarrass easily, but I would do a lot of, I have no filter and I own my shit, so I would do a lot of things for a card that I needed.
Okay, you have to behave well for the rest of your life. No.
That would be cool, actually.
You can't cuss. You can't say a swear word.
Ooh.
Someone in the chat said never eat pizza. If I couldn't have pizza or Chipotle, that's my ultimate punishment.
Oh, yeah, that could be very tough for you.
Like a year of no pizza or Chipotle. Ugh.
It's just a year.
Yeah, it just went down to a year.
Never again. It's like it's so easy. I would never do that. I would never give that up for my whole life for a freaking card.
House of Wax says, I'm polluting a lake for my Grail.
Dude, that's a title contender right there. Let's pollute a lake.
Polluting a lake for my Grail.
That's pretty awesome. Like, it's so specific.
You really need to listen to the episode to know what the hell that means. All right, Mohammed with a great one. Christina, would you be willing to put your socks on both feet before you put your shoes on? Because Christina, did we talk about this on Crossover? She puts one sock on the right foot, and then the right shoe comes on with the left foot.
I watched her do it.
They're naked and
Yeah,
embarrassed.
Josh literally stood there and watched me and was like, I need to film this. And
I gotta
I'm like, "You
do this
go
shit.
away."
She did it. She actually did it, and I was like, I don't get it.
Would you stop doing that for your maxi? You can never for the rest of your life you have to put on 2 socks and then 2 shoes.
So like I get like I probably could. It would just be like I would have to put my socks on in a different room from my shoes because it's just automatic practice to me that the habit would like kick in.
All right.
Yeah, would you, so on that topic, Chris, you were never allowed to type google.com into the Google search bar ever again.
Well, it'd be hard to navigate to Google. Because it's not like my search bar was recently fixed so that it just goes straight to Google.
JP Collectibles said ripping wax. So like I have to give up ripping wax.
Ooh, there we go. I like this. Now we're talking.
I would probably sell my entire Cleaver collection.
Well, she's only saying that because he's out for 6 to 8 weeks right now.
That's true.
How about this, Chris? You're not allowed to ever talk about advanced analytics.
Ooh.
A dagger to the heart.
You have to like only use your eye test.
Oh my god! Only the eye test.
Not the.
Oh,
Yeah, you're like fuck the eye test.
oh no!
Josh never
That's
gets,
got me thinking.
Josh never gets to become best friends with LeBron.
That's already a reality.
Try again, please. That's tough. Josh could never drink an adult beverage on the crossover ever again.
I could do that.
All right, I didn't make it hard enough.
I would do that one for the LeBron Ultimate 101. I would do that.
Josh never gets to drink a hard seltzer again in his life.
In any context,
In his life.
Oof.
Damn.
In your
I don't like this like giving up something I like for the rest of my life. I'm just gonna be sad about that.
I know. This is antithetical to the heart of collecting, which is supposed to make your life better, not be a trade-off of bad.
Mark says he doesn't want to live in that world.
I just love how like these little weird one-off things. We'd rather just like pay a ton of money and not have to deal with that.
Facts.
I just buy the card with like my life savings, but God forbid I can't eat a burrito.
Not even a burrito, just a specific type of burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like you can get Qdoba or whatever. Be like, fuck, what the fuck, or like Cafe Rio or some bullshit. No, thank you.
All right. We got 20 minutes left. Let's go through some of these final questions.
We spent the most time on the most random questions.
Wouldn't expect anything less.
We always do.
All right. Well, I guess we're already in the mood for a question like this. Vinny Slabarino, who is going to get Defensive Player of the Year on the Crossover Awards, I don't know. I need to figure out why, but he says he's always
Congeniality Award. Miss Congeniality, like the good sportsmanship award.
the sport. Yeah, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You nailed it. There you go.
That's good. He says, always enjoy the show. Okay. Kudos to Christina for doing the podcast rounds this week. Like she had
Hell yes.
Scooby out. Who are the Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, Conan, Dr. Oz, and Steve Harvey of Hobby Podcasters. And so he breaks it out like this. He says the Jimmy Fallon is the ultimate cheerleader. The Stephen Colbert is the snarky wise guy. The Conan is the lovable goofball. The Dr. Oz is the snake oil salesman. And, and the Steve Harvey is the man with 1,000 jobs. And he wants us to say which hobby content creators or podcasters fit those 5 archetypes. And Jordan says Clubhouse is the Jerry Springer.
Let's work together on this one. We already know who Dr. Oz is. We can move on. The other 4.
That's right. Dr. Oz is no-brainer.
I want to like put some thought to these. These are funny.
Jimmy Fallon, ultimate cheerleader. Who is the ultimate cheerleader of the hobby? Can I suggest Cajun Cardboard?
I was going to say him or Jake.
Or Jake. Cajun Cardboard is always giving us uplifting, supportive vibes for our hobby. Jake is a great content creator as well.
I would say that it is Jake as well for Fallon, because Jimmy Fallon plays those games with his guests.
Yeah.
And, like, Jake knows that I would never do a top 10, so, like, he literally created an episode of my favorite thing.
Good point.
To do a top 10 for.
Good point.
I do the
like it.
other one. Snarky. Let's do Colbert.
Next one is Stephen Colbert, the snarky wise guy. May I nominate Kyle from Wax Museum?
I was gonna say Kyle. I was thinking Kyle or Luca Tiger. Those guys are pretty snarky.
Those guys are snarky as well. Those guys.
But I like Kyle.
So for Ultimate Cheerleader, can I also nominate Brett?
That's a great nomination. Yes, Brett from Stag and Slabs absolutely gets some Jimmy Fallon votes.
Yeah.
What are the other ones, though?
All right, the next one is Conan the Lovable Goofball. And
Lovable Goofball.
Brendan says, that's Jake, 90s b-ball cards. And you know what? The ginger match is also compelling here. I might put in a vote for Jake Roy as the Conan O'Brien of the hobby.
Team Coco?
Team Coco.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I like that one.
It's not bad. It's not bad. And then the only other...
I like it. I just don't want to make it negative. It's got to be the lovable goofball.
Yes. And dude, Conan O'Brien, for my money, is the funniest person on this list.
Yeah, I like Conan.
Conan, I used to watch his show as a kid and die laughing.
All right, what's the last one?
The last one is Steve Harvey, the man with 1,000 jobs. Jordan, shut the fuck up. The man with 1,000 jobs. May I submit on my ballot the man with 1,000 sponsors?
Yeah, Jeremy
Lee of Sports Cards Live is the Steve Harvey of this hobby.
I would say for that it would be Cajun.
Brian, Cajun Cardboard?
I would say Brian Cajun, because he's, instead of like 1,000 jobs, like 1,000 interests or passion.
Okay.
Like, so I would say that Mr. Brian.
We got it. You vote Brian.
It's got to be Jeremy Lee. He works for PWCC, Collectible, Tag. Like, I can't keep up.
And, right. And also, we have to acknowledge, as Jordan points out, Jeremy Allen, who literally has held 1,000 different jobs in this hobby over the last 2 months.
That's true.
So both Jeremys are going to go ahead and qualify here.
Who's the other one who does?
Also, for Colbert, I'm going to submit card porn. Snarky wise guy, card porn vibes. Colbert, card porn. Go ahead, Christina.
There's another late night host, Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
I don't know what his gimmick is.
Don't put more work on our plate, please.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, my brain already hurts.
Yes. That was a fucking exercise of the brain.
For snarky wise guy, wouldn't that be Lamine?
Lamine isn't snark. Lamine is fucking high art. Lamine is fucking Dave Chappelle. If Dave Chappelle was on this list, then that's Lamine. Lamine is fucking Dave Chappelle.
Like borderline offensive. He's towing the line with all the different categories. He's Chappelle.
Although an odd number of phallic references have made their way into his recent memes, and that bothers me slightly. It doesn't bother me. I just don't know how to feel about it. Maybe I need to think about that in my own world. How dare you not mention Jay Leno? How dare you not mention Jay Leno, Christina?
Is he even still hosting shit?
That chin is still going. That chin.
Technically, like, Jerry Seinfeld has comedians and cars, so we could have, like, collectors and cars.
Right. That's good, Jose. That's really good. All right.
I didn't even realize it until you said it at the end that they're all like late night show hosts. Like, oh yeah, I get it now. Took me a while there.
Fun question, Vinny, and hopefully we didn't offend anybody, and we only ultimately said nice things.
Fan of the show.
Everyone
Yes.
equally.
I always love the show.
Yeah. All right. What do I want to go to next as we wind down? Still so many questions, and we are not going to get to all these. Not going to ask that one.
Send me that later.
Well, if you want a clue, it came from South Park Cards.
I just want you to send it to me directly.
Okay, all right. Hey, what the fuck? Jordan already started the post crossover room. You still got to wait 12 minutes, bro. All right.
He's tired of these topics.
He's like fuck these guys, man. I'm not waiting anymore. His voice needs to be heard now.
He knows if he doesn't start it, then he has to wait for one of us to start it.
True.
So he's starting it early.
I like that. Respect for that move. That's a power move right there.
It's definitely a power.
He's like, you ain't starting this motherfucking room. I am.
Wait until I start my own room.
Oh, let's see what Joy.
All right, this question was thoughtful and tricky, but I've got an answer to it. But it made me think. From Knicks Basketball PC, non-player associated patches, aka Dick's Sporting Good patches, do not matter to some because they say the card's about aesthetics. Well, why wouldn't that also be true for facsimile autographs or assistant signed autographs as well? So if you don't care about the authenticity of a patch, why don't you care? Or why do you care about the authenticity of an autograph as well? And thoughtful question, Nick, and point well taken. However, I don't think people care about facsimile autographs either. Some of the greatest rookie cards of all time are facsimile autographs. The Roberto Clemente. Let me make sure I'm not making a total idiot of myself here. But there's lots of great cards from the 50s and 60s. So, for example, the Clemente, sorry that this is going to be sideways. This card has a facsimile autograph on it. The PSA 9 of this card is worth about $1 million. So, that card has facsimile autograph. One of the Michael Jordan cards is highly collected is a 1994 Collector's Choice silver signature and gold signature. Those are facsimile autographs. People pay a lot of money for those. I think it holds true that facsimile autograph cards are in high demand in plenty of instances.
Can I take a stab at this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Visually, the facsimile autograph versus an actual hand autograph, they're visually quite different. One is like a marker, a Sharpie versus like printed on. Whereas a Dick's Sporting Goods patch versus a Game Worn are visually the exact same. It's just you only know because you turn the card over and it says player worn, whatever. So like, the point of the visuals kind of holds true for the patches, but not necessarily the autographs. I can tell the difference visually.
That's a solid point. In fact, if I can even take it a step further, Dick's Sporting Good patches, you don't have to
Look
worry
better.
about them being blemished by blood or sweat or any other bodily fluids that might secrete during a game.
Lamar Jackson.
And usually
So,
the Dick's Sporting Goods have better patches because they get to choose they get more supply of it. They get to choose better patches.
you shouldn't be getting any napkin Dick's Sporting Good patches.
Exactly.
All right. But very interesting question, Nick. A smart question.
Would you rather have a napkin patch, game worn, or a team logo, chunky as hell patch from a Dick's Sporting Goods jersey?
Yeah, that's.
We're all just like, ooh, I know the answer, but I don't want to say it.
I'd rather have a patch. I'll say it.
Well, the question was which of two different patch types.
No, I would.
Well, I guess you're right. Technically, the napkin is jersey, not patch. All right.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Would you rather have a napkin jersey, game worn, or a chunky ass team logo patch on Dick's Sporting Goods? That's completely the guy never wore it. No photo shoot, nothing. Just fucking straight off the rack.
I do not care.
As Kyle from Wax Museum said in his YouTube video, if it was attached, it's probably a patch. That's how you distinguish jersey from patch. For anybody who wants to be technical.
He knows way more about the distinctions between jerseys and patches than we'll ever know.
Yeah, that is fucking the most accurate thing.
Sabine says Dicks are greater than game-used napkins. Amen.
I agree.
But there are 3 napkin votes surrounding it, in fairness,
Yep.
to the napkin community. The napkin
Someone said.
community, hey, look, the napkin community in this hobby deserves respect.
NAS Productions says it eloquently. Unfortunately, I'll take the logo patch. It's you know that you're going to get shit for it, but you're doing it anyways.
Well said from NAS Productions. That's the great Corey Carr, who on 4 separate occasions has bet against Christian McCaffrey, saying that he will get the under on carries, and every time he's shared that with me, he's been wrong. Thank you, Corey, for your service to McCaffrey's carry total.
Carries, that's a specific bet.
Dude, he must be reaching levels of degeneracy that few of us know. But yeah, thank you, Corey. Great guy, great comments.
All right, one more question.
One more question.
This guy's getting tired over here, this West Coaster.
Let's end it. So,
He said he lost again last night, motherfucker.
thank you, Corey, for your service. My brain isn't ready to deal with these. Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. This is a softball. We'll end on a softball.
I just figured if you want to end in 5 minutes,
Oh, we do.
yeah, then this is a nice one to
All
tie
right.
it all up.
Hometown Authentics will bring us home. Hometown Authentics says, what are your thoughts on having a collection of 1 or 2 high-end cards, then continuing to add cash to trade up?
What?
I'm not 100% sure what that means.
He's saying your collection is only 1 or 2 cards.
Yeah.
And your card budget is not to purchase a new card. You have to stay 1 or 2. So you either have to sell it and trade it, and then use the cash to get to level up.
Got it.
He's saying you have a max of 2 cards at all times.
Yeah, that's fun.
What's the question?
So basically, what are your thoughts on just having a collection of 1 to 2 cards, and you'll never have more than 1 to 2, and your whole goal is just to keep making those 1 or 2 better?
Sounds fun.
Yeah. Sounds like
I think an alternate universe scenario that I don't want to actually live out, but I could see a simulation that I would enjoy that in. Lamim nailed it. I'm done.
Well, actually, we have a bonus question.
Oh, good.
Who
Cooked.
Where did it go? It's from the chat, which is something we very rarely do.
Elliot's.
Here it is.
Fuck cutie pies. That's the answer.
Who wins tomorrow, Argentina or France? Just make a pick.
Make
Argentina.
Didn't France win it last time?
I fucking thought it was like France. Oh, right. Okay, and that's tomorrow. When's the third place game?
No, the game is Sunday.
Yeah.
And
Third
Argentina.
place game is tomorrow.
All right, and just for the record, Argentina is Messi.
Yeah.
France is Mbappe.
I wanted to make a smart ass post about how like it's every investor's wet dream that that's the final, but
It is.
France won it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with Messi too for our disloyal friend Rodman PC.
Ah,
Wow.
there you go.
That all chose Argentina. France is totally going to win.
We just cursed Argentina. Sorry to all the Messi collection. All right. Thank you guys for a great episode of the crossover. We're going to call this one Polluting a Lake for my Grail. And we'll see you guys next week.
We're reaching the top. A lot has changed since Card Ladder began. We started with 500 cards in our database, and now we have over 3 million cards and over 30 million sales.
For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
With Card Ladder's sales history feature, we have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history, and you can add a card to your collection with just one click.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Plus, every card, no matter the last time it sold, has an estimated value that we calculated using our state-of-the-art player indexes. Unlike other apps, when you see Card Ladder's verified checkmark, that means a researcher personally vetted each and every sale.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors.
Know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder 2.0, constantly innovating. Try it for free. See why Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Card Ladder 2.0.